goes in.
Hold on to your butts.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
I got up this morning, put on my shoes, tied my shoes, went to the mirror, wanna comb my hair, I made a move, know what to do.
Well, howdy do there, guys. It's the Lotus Cast.
Heidi ho.
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Have you been watching a lot of Yo Gabba Gabba, Adam?
I did babysit my nephew last weekend.
I was going to say, I mean, why would you say Yo Gabba Gabba? Unless you've been watching a lot of Yo Gabba Gabba.
It's funny to say, too.
That's a good show. I like Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, it's for kids.
I mean, yes, it is for kids, but it's not bad.
So is
it's
tricks.
not bad.
But adults can eat tricks.
Guys, welcome. It is the Lotus Cast.
Silly wabbit.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Joe. Can the people go to thelotuscast.com, and is there a player there that they can play the show from?
Probably. I know there used to be.
Okay. So there's not?
Not unless you changed it.
I didn't change it. I don't know how to change it.
Well, also because the lotuscast.com is not in my control. It's in your control. The lotuscast.net is in my control.
I got you.
But that hasn't changed.
If you click on Listen Live, it goes to Spreaker.
Okay.
But if you
So what you wanna do
click
is-
on Strange Label Radio, it goes to Strange Label Radio.
There you
What you
go.
want to do, guys, is go to strangelabel.com. That's what you want to do. And then click the Listen Live tab, and that's where you can listen to us live. Otherwise, you can just download us on iTunes and all the other fun stuff. We are no longer on Spreaker. Spreaker is a thing of the past. So are these people saying that there is no audio, or
I think it's
just Michelle has the no audio? Okay, good. Just Michelle has no audio. Welcome to the show. Another exciting Thursday. Really happy to be here. A lot of stuff that I want to talk about. I think maybe, are we maybe joined by our Dave Harvey a little bit later?
I don't know. He said he joined the chat. So
Yeah.
He's probably walking home right now.
Yeah, he said that he's usually out of work around 9:10, 9:15. So he said he's going to walk home. And then I don't know if he'll bless us with his presence, but I would love nothing more than to talk with him about the Bill Maher scandal, the situation, and all of that fun stuff.
why do you think Dave has a unique perspective on that?
It's not really that I think he has a unique perspective. I just
Well,
want
you're
to talk
just
to
like,
him.
oh, I would love to talk to Dave about it. I'm just curious why Dave in particular.
Because Dave always has a lot to say about that kind of stuff. So
Because he loves using that word.
I could talk to you about it, and you would have no opinion on it whatsoever. So.
That's not true, because when Dave brought it up in our chat, I was the only one that responded to him, and you said nothing again.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk
Just
to him.
like
in the
last
chat.
week.
I want to talk to the fucking show.
Just like last week, and we were like, oh, I have all these opinions on Comey, and then you didn't say a word. You just stirred the pot.
Actually, I didn't stir the pot with
You did.
Comey.
You lit the match, and then you disappeared, and you stopped saying stuff.
Okay, yes, we got quiet after Dave and Adam started getting into it, but really, I didn't want it to get that far. Because I actually had some. We were talking in the beginning, but then all of a sudden, just Adam and Dave were telling each other that they were fucking idiots, and that was it. Like that's where we really ended with that one.
That was fun. I miss doing that.
You lit the match, and then you stood back, and you watched the house burn down.
I didn't mean to. I meant to light a candle. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then Adam and Dave came in wearing kerosene shirts, and that's what happened. Okay. I wanted a contained fire. I just wanted to have a fire pit, and then all of a sudden, both Adam and Dave were taking sips of kerosene and trying to spit fire and set the house on fire. So,
well,
it wasn't my fault.
You
I'm
never
not going to
seem-
take responsibility.
You never seem to bring any opinions to these hot button topics. You just kind of light the match and you walk away.
That's not true.
That is totally true.
It's not true. I just am not as passionate about or care about those topics. Like it's. I want to talk about it, and I think we could have an interesting perspective on certain things.
Sure.
But then it always gets deeper than I ever want it to go. And then when the two people are fighting about it, like I'm not. What am I going to do? Like I'm not going to interrupt that.
Well, you
I
clearly
think that's entertaining.
have no opinion on it, like because you didn't do enough research. You're just like, oh, heard Comey was in the news today, and that was it. You don't say anything else.
Oh, it's not for me though. It's for me
Then why did
to
you
set
bring
it
it
up.
up? Yeah, it's
These-
for you to set it up. Okay.
I like Joe
Yeah.
calling you out tonight.
Yeah.
Well, listen. The reality of it is, it's more entertaining to hear them fight than it is for me to not talk about something I don't care about.
Yeah, the Bill Maher N-word thing is where you're going to shine with your thoughtful commentary.
I am really curitive why you're in such
I'm
a
not.
mood.
I'm just curious.
You
because
kind of are. Like, you've come
because
out
you're
with
like,
your kitty.
Dave is like, Dave must have some good opinions on this because I want to know what they are. We're going to have a good conversation with it.
Again, it's not necessarily that I want to know his opinions on it. I'm pretty sure I know where his opinions are. I just always enjoyed talking about that kind of stuff with Dave.
N-word stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's the whole free speech thing in general. Like the him making the joke and saying the joke, then him coming around and apologizing for it, and then everything that followed after it. Like I think it's pretty interesting.
Someone in the chat said you want to hear from Dave because Dave is black, isn't he?
It's black.
Who is the Matt
is
that's in the chat? Is that you, Matt?
Me, no, I am the Lotus Cast in the chat. I think that's Matt from one of the other shows. Maybe it's Hot Butter Podcast, or I don't know. I don't know who Matt is, but it's not me.
He said Dave is
So
very. I'm not going to say that, but it's not. It's a nice word.
Yeah.
Let's start off with probably my favorite thing in the news right now, and it's not even really in the news. It's Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. He's in court. He's given his testimony. The woman that he raped is given her testimony, or supposedly raped, and it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's all alleged right now. Which I don't know. Have you guys been following the case at all? Have you been reading about it?
Not really. I did hear that they are the jury is like gridlocked. They haven't been able to come to a unanimous decision, and the judge sent them back, and it's been a couple days. But beyond that, I don't really know what their arguments were.
There is no proof on either end.
Well, yeah,
the
it's like
only
he said,
thing
she said.
It's complete. He said, she said. He says that it was, everything. Everybody knew what was going on, and she said that no, that's not the case. So I don't know that you can really convict him of this just because there is no proof. I don't know how legally you do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seems wrong. You have no
a criminal trial, or is this a civil trial? Like, is she suing for money, or is she suing to put him in prison?
This is criminal.
I think, yeah, it's criminal. He would, if he's convicted, I think he faces a minimum of 10 years.
Well, then the DA must have felt like they had enough to prosecute him. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense.
I heard like rest of his life in jail if he gets convicted.
Yeah, because if they didn't
But
have
they said-
enough, if it was just circumstantial, they probably.
Because he's 80 years old, and if he gets 10 years, he's probably going to die in prison.
I mean, like I said, I haven't been following it, but if this is a criminal trial, then they must have had enough evidence to think that they could get a jury to convict.
Right, obviously. I mean, yeah, they if he's convicted, Adam, I think the minimum is 10 years in prison, or it might be 15, and it's also $25,000 per conviction, or not conviction,
Per sperm.
I can't think.
Per pump.
Per facial.
per hole.
Um, So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't think he'll get convicted. I just there's not that's not enough. So, but one thing is, I guess they're leaving the second day of jury deliberations, and he's leaving the courtroom, and he lets out a Fat Albert, hey, hey, hey. He's walking.
Did he really?
He did. We have
So
a clip.
Joe's got the video.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like
He's walking
unprompted.
away.
Yeah, he's literally
It's
just
so-
walking out of the courthouse.
They're like, "Oh, what do you think about the jury? What do you think about their yelling their questions?" And his face, like you got to watch the clip, but his face is just so serious and monotone, and for him just to let out a "hi hi hi," it's amazing. Can we listen to it again?
Yeah, hang on. Hi,
Michelle is-
hi.
Screaming in the chat that she posted this clip last week and no one bothered to listen to it. I honestly, I don't remember that. Do you guys remember her posting this in the chat?
No, I don't really click on links posted in chat.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to the chat because it's on a different screen for me.
I pay attention, but I don't click links.
Didn't even know. I like that she's like the saying, "Are you serious about this?" So last week, guys. All right.
Well, so is the Bill Maher thing, technically.
Well, the Bill Maher, the only reason that it applies this week is because of the apology. So, the apology happened last weekend. You seem really bitter to talk about the Bill Maher thing.
I'm not. I'm just stating facts on it.
Adam, doesn't he seem a little salty? Like he keeps throwing in Bill Maher jabs.
I don't know if he's salty, but he came out hot tonight, like right
Yeah,
out
he
of the
did.
gate.
I don't really understand. I don't know.
There's no heat.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good job, Joe.
There's no heat. Then Adam says, "Yeah, I like it." Then all of a sudden, Joe's like, "Yeah, there's heat."
I didn't say, yeah, there was heat. You said that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm a hateful guy.
Not a hateful guy.
Full.
Huh?
Said hateful.
Why do you keep cutting out? Stop cutting out.
I think that he decided that was the time to go, "Hey, hey, hey."
I think he's just trying to keep the mood light. Like, he's like, oh, people, here's a crowd that's come to see me. Let's not bring them down. Let's give them something to make
Like-
them laugh,
Joe.
Hey, I'm on trial for rape, but hey, hey, hey.
Well, it's alleged rape.
I'm gonna keep it lighthearted. So when I'm, cleared of all charges, it's gonna be
If
fine.
I get the jury to laugh, they'll be on my side.
He's winning the court of public opinion because people are like, oh, that rascal. He said, hey, hey, hey.
No man that funny could rape 10 women.
Do you imagine like if other people just did this, like when they shot Lee Harvey Oswald, like instead of him getting shot, just somebody just hey, hey, hey. Different points in history
Is this acting like a clown?
for no reason. O.J. Simpson, like walking out of the courtroom one time. Hey, hey, hey. I mean, it really does lighten the mood. Play that again. It's his face. It's his face as he does it too. It's just
Yeah, he's got to dig deep for that one.
The
he
prosecutor
did?
needs to pull some trick where they like get him to melt down in court. Like have the woman seductively lick a pudding pop and he just can't resist himself and he just rapes her in court.
if this was an hour-long television show, that's how it would end.
That's how it ended on a Better Call Saul with his brother.
Oh, no, not quite. I mean, they made him freak out because they slipped a battery into his pocket. Spoiler alert. and he freaked out, or he realized he could have a battery in his pocket. But I
how
get what
often
you're
do
saying.
meltdowns in court like that really happen?
Only on television shows that are an hour long. So funny. I'm going into BJ's today, and you buy everything. So I bought a couple clothes. I've been buying clothes at BJ's. It's cheap. Bought a pair of shorts there. It's $12.99.
That seems like
Bought a couple.
Walmart price shorts.
Did you buy them in bulk?
It is, but they're nice shorts. Like they're nicer shorts than the Faded Glory, and they're Walmart prices. So it's a good price for a pair of jeans, or shorts rather. And then I bought a couple shirts, and I'm all excited. So I check out, and I bought a couple of it. I bought a couple fans. Bought some juice at the BJ's. And if you guys are wondering, if you're not from the area, BJ's is like a Costco or a Sam's Club, just one of those membership, buy in bulk stores. Price Club. So walking out of the store, and you got the lady who's going to check your receipt, right? She's got to make sure that you're not thieving anything out of there.
Yeah.
Older lady, and she checks my receipt, and she goes, "Oh, I see you got some clothes here." And I was like, yeah, here they are. So she pulls it out to count the items of clothing that I have, the 3 items, the shorts and the 2 shirts. And then she says, oh, man, that's right. I got to check to see if there's any hangers, those plastic hangers. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't think there's any hangers.
Well, isn't
and
it
she
obvious?
goes,
Because the hangers would, make it super obvious if they were in
Right.
clothes.
Then she complains. She goes, they're making us do that now. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell them to go back to the cashier. I'm not doing that. And I'm like, really? You got a job as the person who checks the fucking receipt as people walk out, right? But when you were going through the job description, if they said, oh, yeah, also, we're going to need you to remove any hangers on any of the clothes, that's it. That's where you would have, no, I'm not taking this job. You had me up until I have to confiscate the hangers. That's where she draws her line in the sand. That was really odd. Like it was
Seems like
such
she's
a
putting more effort in than she needs to, because haven't you gone there before and they really don't even look at your cart? They kind of glance over and then they just swipe the receipt and you just walk out.
do. Yeah, but I guess
that's
this is
all the
policy.
effort you need.
Have you noticed that the BJ's, when you're there now, there's like one lane or one aisle open, and everything else is automated. So they have they're really trying to push people to self-checkout. So they have the one line, and it's a huge line, or the self-checkout lines, which is like, oh, I don't have to wait at all. So
I've been
I
to
guess,
stores in the area that got rid of the self-checkout because apparently too many people were thieving.
They got rid of it in Medway at the Shaw's.
Yeah, people were stealing too much from the self-checkout. So now they just have cashiers.
I
How
only
do you
bought
steal stuff?
I only bought condoms at the self-checkout.
No, because you'll put one thing in the self-checkout and not the rest of your stuff, and then you'll just throw the rest in the bag.
Oh, but it has to go once you scan it, it has to go down the little
Yeah, so you leave
conveyor.
on those little small ones where you just have your little hand basket there. You leave the hand basket there with a bunch of items in it, and you scan one, you put it in the weight center, you pay for it, and then when you take the bag out, you can put other items into the bag, and who's going to stop you? There's nobody watching you.
I see. See, at BJ's they have somebody that watches the self checkout.
So then why not just have the cashier?
Well, because it's one person that watches 7 self checkouts.
See, that's the problem. You can't watch all of them at once.
I mean, I think maybe you can at BJ's
Why at BJ?
because it's all big items, you know.
You just pretend to scan it, but don't actually scan it.
And then the lady, when you get to the lady, she there's that threat that she's gonna actually check the receipt.
Yeah, but what? Let's say you do this at BJ's at the self checkout. You get 2 loaves of bread, and you know how sometimes when you buy a loaf of bread, it comes in a 2-pack already, and if you just
Right.
squish the 2 together and you swipe the one, and you only get charged one, and just comes together down the conveyor
But
belt.
because the weight, the conveyor belt weighs it, and if it doesn't weigh the right amount, then
I don't
it
think
sends it
it's.
back.
I think it's just a weight sensor. I don't think it
Oh, no,
it
yeah,
has
does.
a individual item scale on it.
It does. Every item is in the weights are scanned into the system.
I don't think they are.
I tell you, look at the everything. Every package has like
What
a
if I do
weight.
this thing where I don't, I scan the item, but I don't put it on the belt. I leave it in my cart because it has a little hand scanner.
It flashes. The thing flashes, and it says that you need assistance, and then the lady has to come over because it didn't go down the conveyor belt correctly.
Yeah, but you're not putting it on the conveyor belt. You're keeping it in the carriage because it's so heavy and humongous.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if you do that, you still you have to have. If it doesn't go down the conveyor belt, the lady has to clear it.
Oh, this is some weird BJ's because I've never seen this before. There's no
Yeah,
individual. There's no
With
individual
guy there-
item weights.
There is.
Well, you know what you do if you're stealing and they ask to check your receipt? You just light a cigarette, take a long drag, blow smoke in their face, and then run away.
No, you blame it on the cashier. Like, I went through the cashier. You know?
They're not allowed to chase you, though.
So there's actually 2 different colored receipts that tell you if you've been through self-checkout or the cashier. Self-checkout is yellow.
I don't know. They can't accuse you of stealing. You can just be like, oh, it was a mistake. I must have not seen that one.
So
Oh yeah, of course. Like that's how you can get away with it. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oops, my bad. But you still have to go back and pay for it
No, you can just say keep it.
or keep it. Yeah, that's kind of makes you look a little suspect.
No, it doesn't. It just means like, oh, I didn't see it, but I'm not going to go back and waste my time and wait in this line again.
All right, I guess.
So the lady with
That's
the hangers, what if taking the hangers off wasn't in her job description, and then they told her to do it later, but they didn't offer her a raise to do it?
Well, that's clearly what I'm telling you is that's what happened. Like she said, oh, we're gonna pay you $12 an hour to be the lady that checks the receipts, and she said okay, and like this is what you have to do, and she's like okay, and then later on they're like, listen, we only have one cashier, and for people who go through self-checkout, there's no way to remove the plastic hangers. So when they get to you, we need you to remove the plastic hangers. So now, yes, there's an extra task that she has to do. But really, I mean, it's not really worth anything to remove the plastic hangers from the clothes. Like,
I don't even know why they want to keep the plastic hangers, because they'll just get more when they order more clothes.
Listen, I don't know the rules. I just know that she's upset by it. And, I mean, she doesn't deserve a raise to remove a plastic hanger. But I just find it funny that it's like...
She also doesn't have to say anything. She can just be like, oh, I don't see any plastic hangers, wink, wink, and then let you go. I don't know why she's complaining so much.
Well, and it's also just funny to me, like, if she interviewed for the job the first time, and they did say, like, hey, we also, while you're checking the receipts, we also want you. Like, if they hired her that day, we also want you to remove the hangers. They gave her those instructions. Would she turn the job down? Is that a deal breaker? That, wow, yeah, I won't be working at BJ's. They ask you to take the plastic hangers off the clothes.
Well, if she didn't agree to it, and then they changed the agreement after she accepted it.
Yeah, but you don't really get to agree. Like, you're a grunt. When you get a job like that at BJ's, you're a grunt. I get it if they said, hey, you're going to be the lady who checks the receipts. And then 3 weeks into the job, they're like, listen, I'm not going to, you're not going to be this lady anymore. You're going to be the person who scrubs the toilets. Okay, yeah, I get that. You'd be like, listen, I did not sign up for this. This is not in the job description. I'm not cleaning. I get that. I get up being upset by that.
What if the hangers had poop on them? And she had to remove them?
That's possible.
Well, you're not touching-
How
you're
many
gonna be touching
people?
pooping?
How many people have tried on that shirt and then put it back on the hanger with their poop fingers?
I mean, I could see Joe going in trying on a shirt. His ass gets itchy, so he
Yeah,
uses the
and then I
hanger to
use the
scratch his
hanger to
asshole.
scratch my asshole, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want this shirt now. It's got a dirty hanger, and then I put it back on.
Yeah,
the
and you're
thing.
not going to be going to the checkout lady, so she doesn't have to worry about you anyway.
What? You broke up there.
You're not going to. I said you're not going to be going through the checkout line anyway.
I don't want some dirty hanger. Some clothes on it. Somebody wore those clothes.
But it's your own butthole. I mean, you can
Is,
touch your own butthole, but you can't have other people touch it.
Is Dave, like, is he home? Is that what's happening here?
Maybe he's chatting from his phone.
Oh. He says that we're uninteresting.
We really are.
I mean, you're complaining about a checkout, the receipt checker at BJ's.
I just thought it was a weird thing. Sorry, I'm sorry, Joe. You go ahead. You've got something more interesting.
Yeah, I want to talk about the cashier at the Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
I feel like that's
got-
way more interesting than this.
Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disinterest you with my BJ story. You take it.
I mean, they started asking those cashiers to get donations for charity. I mean, they were really disgruntled because that's their tip money, and instead now it's donations for charity. I mean, can you believe it? Have you heard of this? Can you believe this?
Would they donate their
I mean-
chips to charity?
You shouldn't be you shouldn't be tipping the cashiers, and also you shouldn't be donating money to any business that's like, oh, would you like to donate $1 to whatever?
No, but like
Don't-
you've been to
Don't donate.
a Dunkin's where you pay in cash, and then like your change is like 47 cents, and then you kind of just leave it in their little tip cup. Like, do you not do that in general?
No, I don't use cash at all at Dunkin'. I use the app, which is amazing.
Yeah,
The
I've switched
on
to
the go app is the best thing ever.
But like when I had cash, like years ago, and I would go to Dunkin' Donuts before work, like I'd always be like, "Oh, just keep the change. Like here's $5, and it was $4.50, and they'd keep the 50 cents." And it goes into their little tip cup. But now a lot of Dunkin' Donuts are like no tipping. Like there's a sign that says no tipping, and if you want to leave your change, it goes to like some charity for orphans or something.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just goes to pay the bills.
And probably.
Like 10% of the money goes to the charity.
But the ones that do have the tip cup, like have you gone in the afternoon or like 5 o'clock at night and their tip cup is empty, and you can tell like these are the people that just got on like for the afternoon shift and they have no tips, and they're probably disgruntled, and then you're like, should I tip because you have no tips? But now it's kind of a moot point because I use the app, and the app's
You
great.
only tip because you're too lazy to hold on to your change?
I don't want change.
Dude, that
I'm-
Dunkin' Donuts app is the best thing
yeah,
ever.
I have so many free coffees, like it's ridiculous.
You get free coffees, and then the fat. Like, I can't wait. I really cannot wait until all of the cashiers are gone, and you just don't have to interact with anybody. Like, I can't wait until that store. Was it Amazon that made that store where you just go in and you grab your stuff and then you just walk out with
the
it? And
grocery store. Yeah, and it's all
yeah,
got
it just
like
automatically charges you
Yeah.
for what you have. I cannot wait.
every item has
until,
an RFID chip on it, so when you walk through like the outside door, it just knows what items you've picked up.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It is the best, and I like. That's what we need. That's what I want. Fuck all the cashiers. I hope they never work again. It's just that app is so great because you roll through and you're like, oh yeah, I'd like to pick up for Matt. And they're like, okay. And then you roll up to the window. You don't hand them anything. They just hand you your coffee and you move on.
Is that how you pay? Because usually I hit like pay card and then they scan my phone when I get to the window.
Oh no, dude, you got to get to the on the go.
Well, yeah, but like on the go, I always use when I'm inside the thing. If I decide to walk in,
Dude, you can drive through with on the go.
what, you just roll up to the window and you're like, oh, the order is for Matt.
Yeah. On the go ordering is now with both drive through and in store pickup.
Yeah, I've only used
So
it
you
in
just-
store.
You just make your order and then you fucking roll right up and be like, yeah, pick up for Matt. They're like, okay.
They
They
still
repeat it there.
they still kind of screw up my order anyway. Like even if they type it in right into the register and I get my receipt and everything's correct, my order is still messed up like half the time. I don't know how hard it is to like make a coffee correctly. Or like today, I asked for a ham, egg, and cheese English muffin, and they gave me a ham, egg, and cheese croissant. But the receipt said ham, egg, and cheese English muffin.
Yeah, Matt in the chat says I wouldn't leave my house if I could. I hope they keep increasing minimum wage so they make everything automated. Yeah, me too. Like I can't wait till I can go. I mean, honestly, there's stores like gas stations like Wawa is one of them, and then Sheetz. And they're not up here. They're mainly like a little bit further south. But both of those stores, you go up to a pad, like a touch pad, and they're like fast food restaurants, and you order your food via touchpad, and then you go up to the register and you pay for it. Actually, I think you can even pay for it at the touchpads now. But you just make the order, and then they're like, hey, order 71 is up, and you walk up and grab your food and then leave.
I feel like I've been to other restaurants that are like that. I don't know why it's not more popular. Like, you should be able to do that at like Five Guys or something, where they just make burgers and ready to go.
But yeah, you should be able to do that at McDonald's and any fast food place. Like, imagine if instead of those people taking your order, is you just walked right up and there was just like 15 of these touchpad things, and everybody not really waiting in line, and you place your order. Like, if everything went like that app, that would be even better. If you just place your order on the app.
Don't some of the apps already do that? Like, I remember you used to do that with Taco Bell. Like, you could order it on the app and then pick it up.
Yeah. Taco Bell in the app was pretty great, but not all Taco Bells do it. The one in my town doesn't do it.
When they finally make robot sex women, would you actually have sex with one?
Yes.
I guess.
Like,
Why?
could you be turned on by a robot?
Is it realistic?
I tell you what,
or is
women-
it just or it actually looks like a robot?
Dude, women they should really be worried right now, because once they make VR porn where you put the little thing on and then they have like the machine that sucks your dick or like fucks you
Like a
while
cow
you have the
milker?
VR, it's over.
You just
like,
wear a bodysuit and like the VR is part of the bodysuit is part of the experience.
Yeah. No guy will ever pursue a woman ever again.
But think about it. Could you really like be turned on by something that isn't real, or could you ever like fall in love with a robot woman?
I mean, if it looks like a real woman, are you saying that you
Like, how
and you
real does
didn't
it have
know
to
the
be?
difference?
No, I'm telling, like, once they make it to where you just put that thing on, or even if it's like
You're
the Matrix,
saying
where you get
VR,
plugged
though,
in.
and Adam's saying a robot, which are different.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
Well,
but like,
yeah, I mean, I
VR is
think-
different because you have to get in the whole get up, and what you're saying, Adam, is like there's this being that either you don't know is a robot or you do, but looks identical to a real woman.
It's going to have to be like a hybrid. Like, once you have the holodeck, where you actually go into the holodeck and there's something that you can fuck, right? Like, you can actually have sex with this and make this scenario and act however you want to act.
Oh God! Once they have
That-
holodecks, people aren't leaving them.
But I'm even telling you, like, once they
It's
have
not
the
even a
VR
sex
machine,
thing. It's just like, oh, I don't like my life right now. Okay, well, I'm gonna play like medieval times. That's my fantasy that I want to live in. So now I'm just gonna live in my holodeck and never leave.
Like Barclay.
Yeah.
But even if you have like a robot udder milking machine, like you're still thinking about something to get yourself horny.
You're saying
You're not
even
just
if
thinking
if
about
you're-
the udder machine.
right? But that's what I'm saying is, like, if they make the machine, right? Like, if they make a fucking like tanning bed machine that you get into, right? You put the VR thing on, and then there's this weird thing that like hugs your body, and it molds and it glides. So when you have it on, the girl walks up and she touches your chest. You feel her hands on your chest, and then her hand slides down to your dick, and you feel her hands on your dick.
This was in
and then,
Minority Report. This is like one of the little things they had.
Once that is out there, like that's it. Nobody. Dating is so much like it's so much different than it was when 10 years ago, right? Like, with all the apps and the way that people hook up and meet, and once that's a thing, like guys aren't going out to fucking meet chicks. Guys won't care. Like, they'll be like, some girls gonna be like, hey, you want to go hang out? Like, I'm busy tonight. I've got to go get into my fuck tube.
See, I disagree with that because I think like guys would still crave a real human companionship that like
I don't
a real
think so.
person would provide.
Guys want to get off. Like, they want
I
a
feel like
good.
that's more important. I don't think
if
it's
you-
going to be the relationship. They could substitute the relationship with something else.
It's like jerking off feels really good, but a pussy feels better than just jerking off. So when faced with that option, you're like, well, definitely I'm going to go fuck the chick. But if they make a machine that feels identical, and it's not even just feels identical. You can adjust it to how you want it to feel.
Like, say you got a fucking machine, like, to replace your wife. Would there be other stuff about your wife that you would miss dearly? Besides the sex?
Yeah. Like I miss making fun of my wife.
Well, you would miss like all the meals that she would make him.
I would miss exactly everything that she like, where I can just be a lazy slob and she cleans up after me. Miss that.
Yeah, and the sex robot won't laugh at your silly jokes.
Well, I don't think Rochelle laughs at his silly jokes either. That's just my guess.
She does. Yeah, I understand. Like that's what they're saying. But I think you figure all of that other stuff out. Like if I'm saying if you are a guy raised in a world where there's fuck tubes, you don't go meet women. You never do, and you just use fuck tubes. So it's just like you lead that single life.
But then
with a fuck.
Like, once you finish, you come in your sex tube, don't you, like, fall into a depression? Because you're like, oh, it's not even real. I'm so pathetic. Or do you just continue to enjoy your fuck tube?
Video games. Like, honestly, life would be a lot less stressful. You wouldn't be dealing with all the bullshit, you know?
Joe, would you... I mean, you're the only one that has the fleshlight. Do you find just using that better than actually trying to meet women? Not that you ever try to meet women. But.
It's too much work, yeah.
So you prefer the fleshlight?
I would totally, yeah. Sex robot, I'm down for it. Sex VR, sex holodeck, sure.
He doesn't like the fleshlight because he has to do work.
There's a lot of
with
work
the
for that too. But I will at least do that effort because it's here and I don't have to go anywhere.
You could lay down in a fuck tube.
What?
If Joe could lay down in a fuck tube, that's
if there was sex holodeck and I could just have it in my living room or my bedroom, that'd be fine. I'm okay with that.
What if the holodecks are all and the sex is all automated, but they still have human janitors that have to clean up your sex holodeck?
Do you like tip them or give them like a Christmas bonus or something?
Oh,
I mean, it'd be nice.
They have a sign that says no tipping.
No tipping. If you want a tip, it's for the orphans.
You can give it to the Jimmy Fund.
Yeah, it's donated to orphans with cancer who don't have their own sex robots.
If it was a corporation that you had to go to, like it's like let's say it's in the mall. It's just like this store in the mall that you can go to and have sex holodeck. Wouldn't you assume that they're doing something with your jizz? Like they're giving it to some sort of sperm clinic? Like that, they're making extra money.
They're just scraping it off the walls and donating it to
because
sperm
you're wearing
banks?
some weird VR suit that probably like is skin tight and collects all your fluids, and then literally is just like they're like, all right, well, we're gonna take your sperm and sell it to a sperm bank.
You don't.
Well, yeah,
and why would they go out of their way
for
sperm?
For the money.
No,
they're selling it to the sperm bank for the money.
That's what I'm saying. What sperm bank is going to be like, all right, well, we scraped this guy's jizz off of the floor.
Yeah, but like, what if like celebrities are going in there, some like smart people or athletes or something, and then like they're like, oh, I can make all this extra. The company's like, I can make this extra money by just giving. Oh, here's like this superstar athlete's sperm, and we got because he came into our sex holodeck.
Listen, the one that they're going to be scraped like you. The celebrities will have their own fucking fuck tubes. We're going to have to go into like basically what is like a tanning booth. Like it's just a bunch of fucking people sitting in a lobby. Okay, this one's ready, and then you go in.
You have a number, and you have a limited amount of time.
Do you know what they
like
do?
You buy it in 15-minute increments.
What they do at a sperm bank, they have like whole profiles that the mother reads about the father to get exactly what she wants.
But if we have this level of technology and they're collecting people's sperm, they'll just do a DNA analysis on all the sperm and just be like, oh, these are some good genes right here.
They're like, this one we scraped off the toilet at Applebee's.
Yeah. There's some good
don't
genes
worry,
in
Joe. If this ever happened, you got nothing. You got nothing to worry about. Nobody's going to be...
Well, I mean, if they're selling it to a sperm bank, I want the money for it at least. That's where it's going.
It's like the people that would go steal grease from the trash at the restaurants to run their diesel grease. They stopped throwing it out because they were losing. All those people were making money.
It's kind of ridiculous.
And the grease gasoline wasn't being taxed. I think that was the bigger issue.
They finally announced the date for the Mayweather McGregor fight.
It's actually happening?
Yeah. They announced a date in August, but then I think they pushed it back. So like they announced the date yesterday.
August 26th, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they announced the date yesterday, but then they were like, hold on, we got to push the date back even further.
Wait, so it's not August 26th?
I that was the last thing I heard. So maybe maybe it was the 22nd to the 26th. But this is probably going to be the biggest pay-per-view of all time, and the pay-per-view is probably going to be $100.
Do people really pay $100? They don't know how to like get it illegally or something.
Boxing pay-per-views are insanely expensive. Like
is it because they need to recoup costs because not as many people are ordering it, or they just feel like that's what it's worth?
I think it's both, and people pay it. Like
Showtime pay-per-view.
So this is going to be like a strictly boxing match, right? It's not going
to. It is. Yeah, and Conor is obviously going to be a little outmatched because he's an MMA fighter, and boxing I don't think is like one of his. Well, I mean he's a good boxer, but it's not. It's
totally different.
Right.
I think Conor's going to get wrecked.
You think so?
I mean, if it's just straight up boxing, that's like Mayweather's the best. Like everything's in Mayweather's advantage if it's a boxing match.
Yeah, also he's black.
I agree with Anchor. Anchor in the chat said I think the fight is going to be terrible. Yeah, I think so too. I think the fight is going to be really fast or really quick, and it's not going to be that entertaining. And it's either going to be like a gasser where they go fucking round after round after round, and Conor's just trying to stay alive each round, or it's just going to be a complete fuck fest, and Mayweather is going to destroy him.
I hope he just Conor just is like fuck this and like locks him in a chokehold, just brings him down, just gets disqualified.
I mean, that would be entertaining as fuck, of course. Then CM Punk comes out that he's returning at the WWE.
Yeah.
He just comes out with a chair and slams it over both of them and says, "I'm back at the WWE."
Comes out and makes the save.
Yeah.
He comes out. He cashes in his money in the bank.
Yeah.
Like he has his baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it.
Kicks him in the
It
nuts.
wouldn't be fair. kicks him in the nuts. Do you like pork rinds, Joe?
To be honest, I don't recall ever having one.
Adam, do you like pork rinds?
Those are like fried pork skin, right?
Yes, exactly.
Are they different from Funyuns?
I'd
Yes.
eat like a couple of them, but I couldn't eat like a whole bag.
I don't really know.
Vastly different.
Yeah,
than a Funyun.
I don't think we've ever had pork rinds growing up, and then I never bothered to buy them as an adult.
I love pork rinds. And there's a gas station by my work that sells hot and spicy pork rinds. And they're my favorite thing ever.
Hot and spicy
I'm
pork
surprised.
rinds?
When I was a kid, I used to have salt and vinegar pork rinds. Dave wants to know if that was a joke, your Funyun line.
What the hell is a Funyun then?
Funyun's like a Cheeto, but with onion flavor.
Well, I don't know what a pork rind is or looks like.
It's like you ever seen
pork
like
something?
meat with skin on it? You take the meat off or the skin off and deep fry it.
Oh, okay. I don't know who came up with that. I mean, pork rind. Let me look up a picture of it.
He's going all in.
They look like Funyuns. I mean, come on.
They don't look like Funyuns. Funyuns are
totally
round.
do.
Dude,
I mean, it's been a long time since I had a
this is a-
Funyun. Hold on. Funyun.
This is a bit, right?
No, because I don't. Funyuns look like onions.
You think?
Yes,
did
of
you
course
think Funyuns
Funyuns
were
look like
actual onions?
Listen, it's been a while since I saw a Funyun, but I mean, like, it kind of looks like pieces of a Funyun, a pork rind.
They're not even
For sure.
circular.
Funyun is so different. Do you like combos? Are you a combos fan?
Combos are okay.
I
I
never liked
think
them.
what you know how
I don't like all
Cheez-Its-
the flavors of them, but yeah, the cheese one's okay, and the pizza one that's in a pretzel, that's okay.
Can you like you know how I'm sorry, you know how Cheez-Its you know how Cheez-Its have the extra toasty Cheez-It?
Yeah.
So I think combos should release like a bag where it's just the filling of a combo instead of the pretzel. Like no pretzel, just the filling.
How are you gonna have the filling? Like, it's just in a little bowl that you scoop out.
So I've thought about that too, like, because it can't just be. I mean, I guess you could just do the rolled like little balls of the filling, but maybe you could make it kind of like Fun Dip, right? Where you scoop it out, like there's a stick, like the little plastic stick, or like a flavor stick, like maybe a pretzel rod, where you dip it into the Fun Dip and you just scoop it out and eat the filling.
So you do want that pretzel flavor with your combo filling.
Yeah, but like maybe like I said in that Fun Dip where you get the sugar stick and you dip that into the filling.
Does that caked cheese filling? Do you actually like that more than just buying like a jar of dip? And
Yeah. What about like something like pub cheese? Isn't it basically the same thing?
No, it's different.
I feel like pub cheese is pretty close.
It's less processed, less cakey.
Wait, pub cheese is less processed?
I don't know. Why do they call it pub cheese?
I don't know. It just
Does it have pubs in it?
it's weird. Maybe it's served at pubs. I have no idea.
I think it's pube cheese.
Could be pube cheese.
It's French.
Pube.
Why are they talking about? Oh, Anchor. Oh, what is going on? Anchor's giving. He's giving away Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy like they're Bibles.
I don't know why you would keep buying them over and over.
Yeah, I don't know why you would have multiple copies.
Yeah, why do you just not only have the one? Like, why would you buy it over and over? Oh, here's a new one. You're like that Mel Gibson in that conspiracy theory movie where he just kept buying like Catcher in the Rye over and over, and he didn't know why. And it turns out he was just because he was like a sleeper assassin.
He loves
Do
it
you
so
see Mel-
much. He has to spread the good word.
Mel Gibson is going to be in Daddy Daycare 2.
I don't even know what Daddy Daycare 1 was.
I don't know what Daddy Daycare 1 is either, but there's a Daddy Daycare 2 with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Is that the one where they were cops or something?
I feel like I'm confusing that one with Kindergarten Cop.
There was one where they were cops together, and
The Other Guys?
the other guys. That was it. Yeah, that's the one I saw.
Is it The Other Guys 2? No, I think it's Daddy Daycare 2 or something.
Wait, so they did a second movie together?
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, apart from the sequel, they
So-
did a separate film franchise together.
So it's going to be Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and then Mel Gibson plays Mark Wahlberg's dad, and John Lithgow plays Will Ferrell's dad.
The original was Eddie Murphy and Jeff Garlin. I feel like this one sounds better. Not that I've
Oh,
seen
I
it.
guess this is called Daddy's Home 2 or something.
That's a terrible title.
I don't know. I don't know what this movie is. I didn't see part 1, but I did see an ad for
No,
part 2 today.
you're
and it
right.
had
It's
Mel Gibson.
Daddy's Home too. Oh, that's terrible. Two men must deal with their intrusive fathers, Mel Gibson and John Lithgow, during the holidays. Okay.
Sounds miserable.
Are the dads gay
Is
with
Da-
each other?
Is he home yet? I want to talk about Bill Maher.
I don't
Dave.
know.
Been waiting
It
for
seems
this
like
all
he's
week.
just been in the chat criticizing us.
I mean, it's pretty easy to criticize us. Mel Gibson's had a pretty good comeback. Oh, so you can call him. Give him a call. He's home. Mel Gibson has had he's had some good years. He's really bounced back from his racist phone calls.
Those were his best years.
They were his best years. It's kind of disturbing that Dave's got the Simply Sarah woman
In a heart.
in a heart. Do you think Dave would fuck Simply Sarah?
I think so.
Dave, would you fuck Simply Sarah?
No.
Is she enough of a celebrity for you, though, that you might fuck her?
I think he would for the story, so he could tell you all about Simply Sarah.
Well, Simply Sarah, I don't know if she is a human being anymore because nobody's seen her since her stroke or whatever happened.
But she's still pumping out videos.
Yeah.
Wait, how
And
is she
they
pumping
are
out videos
terrible.
if you can't
She's
see her?
just not visible. It's off camera. I mean, you see her fat hands.
Oh.
Her hands didn't stroke out.
Well, I mean, if I fuck her, they would.
Why is she embarrassed
So-
to show her droopy face?
I don't know.
She should.
I don't even know if
embrace
it was a stroke. I'm pretty sure that she was in a coma for 2 months or something
Oh,
from
why?
something. I'm pretty sure that's why I assume it was a stroke because she was so massive or is so massive.
Well,
I don't know,
wasn't
man.
she trying to make healthy dishes? How is she still massive?
Have you seen her healthy dishes?
If a
didn't
lot of
really watch
people
her
in the
videos.
chat are wondering a lot of people, I mean, Michelle. Simply Sarah is a woman who was introduced to me by Dave. She's just a really big bitch who cooks.
Large.
And she's got a YouTube channel, and she makes really trashy foods. She's one of those people that sounds fat. If you just
Well,
heard her voice,
It
you
doesn't.
would know.
It doesn't help that you hear them breathing the entire time.
Yeah, I know. It is very. All right, so what's she gonna want to do?
Also,
If
each
you're gonna
individual word, she has to cut between. So she'll say one word, then it's 20 cuts to get a sentence out.
I turned them upside down. We're going to make about 8 of these, so I need 2 of these.
Oh, hang on. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, she sounds fat.
I'm making Mama's homemade lemonade. We're gonna start off
And I
with
took little squares of
Crisco.
aluminum foil, big enough to cover the little cups, and then sprayed them with a little bit of cooking spray. And then
Oh, hold on. Can you pause that, Joe?
Your grains.
For the chat, if you're gonna
Talk
Google
about-
her, there is also an MFC girl whose name is Simply Sarah, so you might get a little confused there.
Yeah. I just looked at the video Joe was playing, and she looks like she has her own gravitational pull.
I like the video
Dave,
that we're watching. If you
so
want to.
before she stroked out, because
Yeah.
obviously you have morals and ethics, you would have fucked her.
No. No.
What about this one that says "Why I Was Missing"? Did you watch this one?
Hold on, would you?
Maybe that's the one where she said she was in a coma. That's
Would
what it
you
was.
let her give you blowjobs?
Does she shake her face like Bosnas?
No, you're gonna be looking at the
Also,
back
as a
of
cooking channel on YouTube, was, filling everybody in. We were trying to, as much as we could and stuff. I had pneumonia for the first time, and it got so bad that it got into my bloodstream. When you're like that,
The pneumonia got into her bloodstream.
Yep.
sometimes you don't come
The
back from
pneumonia.
that stuff. They said they couldn't do anything. So my family shipped me to
Come
another
back.
hospital, which way they were willing
She was
to
shipped.
save my life. They vented me, put me in a coma, put me up in one of them upside down movable beds to shake all that stuff out of my lungs. And that
Hold on,
hospital,
pause. In this hospital, they put her into one of those upside down movable beds, and they shook it out of her lungs.
Yeah.
hmm
I didn't know this is a real thing.
Nope.
Can you shake pneumonia out of somebody's lungs?
She's the kind of fat that grows barnacles under her neck.
Like
They shook it
Mama
out
June.
her lungs.
Yeah. There's no way she doesn't have barnacles.
Well, they say I got that illness, and they shook it out of me, so I'm all set now.
I don't understand how
Luckily,
people that
Kelly-
fat, how do they maintain that lifestyle? Who pays for all that food?
Well, she is married, so that should make Joe feel bad. and that's probably how.
How does that make me feel bad?
That makes me feel
Because
bad
you
too.
can't find someone.
Okay.
She found someone, Joe.
Neither can you.
What kind of
I also didn't have a job.
disgusting little
Now I can.
worm would marry that fucking disgusting way?
No, I'm pretty sure he's gigantic too. At least if he's not, if he wasn't, he has to be now. I mean, you should see some of like the amount of condiments she uses on things is incredible.
Do you ever watch those
And
shows
so
like
much sugar.
My 600-Pound Life, where there's like this giant blob just like filling a bed, and they have like a husband or a wife that just like cooks for them and brings them food all day? Like,
Mhm.
how did
Yeah,
this
that's kind of
person-
how.
How did this person?
That's like
fall
how
in
Jerry
love?
Springer always was. Yeah, I know, but that's how Jerry Springer always was. Whenever it was like the gigantic Coco or something, it was always like the skinniest dude ever with them.
But that was mainly scripted that way, right?
Right, but it was always that, and because it's believable.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Dave, did you hear Cosby go, hey, hey, hey?
Yes,
walking
I
out
did.
there? Why do you think he did that?
Senility? I don't know. It's
you
pretty
hear-
awesome.
Did you hear Bill Maher use
Yeah.
the N?
No, he didn't use the N word specifically.
What word
That's
did he use?
He said nigger, or he
Oh.
said nigga. He said, and it's such an innocent joke. Like there's no actual malice there at all, and the fact that this was controversial for anybody
Wh-
is
why do you-
outrageous.
Why do you think Dave, or not Dave, why do you think Joe is
Wait.
upset that I want to talk to you about this?
Wait, did Dave say
wasn't
that in
upset. I know.
context? Was that in context?
No, I mean the joke was him saying, "I'm a house nigga, not a field nigga." Like that was the joke.
So let's hear the joke. I know that Joe has it ready to go.
Be a
I
kid
think
thing.
Joe.
It's not anymore? Not out here. No, adults dress up for Halloween. They don't do that in Nebraska?
It's frowned upon. Yeah, we don't do that quite as much. But
Wow. I got to get to Nebraska more.
you're welcome. We'd love to have you work in the fields with us.
Work in the field.
That's part of that. That's
Senator. I'm a house nigga. No, it's a joke.
He got some laughs.
I do like that once he said it's a
still
joke,
working in
then
the field
everybody
out
started
there.
laughing.
Right.
we-
Well, I mean, they were kind of like mixed anyway, but they're like that for
Right.
any of his jokes. It's just what's wrong with that? I don't understand
So-
the problem.
I mean, yeah, the joke is whatever, whether you find it funny or not. I
Right.
get why he went there. Like
Right,
once
exactly.
you heard field, I understand why
Go work
you
in the
jump.
field.
Right, I understand why you jump there. I get it. So he kind of apologized immediately right there. He was like, "Oh, it's just a joke," and then the outrage starts obviously on Twitter and everything. Everybody's upset that he went there.
Who was he talking to again?
Senator from Nebraska or Congressman,
Yeah.
whatever he was, or is.
So I think the worst thing about this is Bill Maher has always been one of those guys, right? He's been that comedian that has really defended
Literally,
everybody.
his show before this was called Politically Incorrect, and he talks
Right.
about stuff like that all the time. Like,
He's always addressed this head on and really faced it. Like he's like, oh yeah, nobody should be chastised for the things that they say. Nobody should be punished. And what does he do?
immediately.
But just roll over and
Kind of though. I mean, you have to actually look at what the apology was. He wasn't saying necessarily that, like he was saying like maybe it was a joke I should have thought about more, and
Sure,
like, that's
but it
fine.
was it was kind of the cop out. Like
Yeah.
he was apologizing for the sake of apologizing,
right,
but
exactly.
in a way that he wasn't directly apologizing for saying it. Like
Right, because the point is that he is a comedian and there's nothing off limits.
Right.
That doesn't exist, and anybody who thinks that there's anything off limits for a comedian is stupid.
Like, at
plainly,
times
they are stupid.
it seemed like he was apologizing just because it wasn't a good joke. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like even then you shouldn't be apologizing.
No,
for a
but
bad joke.
at least that's not like the worst that he.
Yeah, but he knew that he had to get sorry out there, which I think is what
Right.
bothers me the most.
Yeah, it does
is
bother me.
It's just like, why you don't have to say sorry, man. Like you're one of those guys. You push for it and you push the envelope and you don't give a shit what people are saying. And why you don't say sorry? Like why,
Right.
man? That really was a bummer.
You see, the problem is he said that joke as a white male. He said it from a position of privilege, and he doesn't fully grasp like the levity behind that word. Like,
well,
he doesn't understand what the field N-words have gone through to be called that word.
To me, I just compare it to that episode of Seinfeld with the anti-dentite thing, when Bryan Cranston wants to make jokes like Jew jokes, after he converts to Judaism, and then Jerry gets upset that he's making Jew jokes, and then like Jerry makes a dentist joke, and it's like the worst thing. It's like, that's what people care about. Like, it's just so stupid. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking joke. Get over it.
Centuries of struggle. Picking cotton, picking tobacco.
That you say that, because then a week later, this past weekend, he does his show.
Right.
And the first thing that he does is he kind of addresses it in his monologue. And then he has a professor.
Right.
And I don't know what he was.
He's been on a lot. Yeah, he's been on the show a lot of times, and he's talked about similar stuff all the time. And he's a very verbose person. So it's kind of obnoxious.
This guy basically just held his hand through the apology. Like, you knew that this guy is a friend of Bill's, and he's going to be like, okay, well, yeah, what you did, Bill, was wrong, but we all understood where you were coming from, and so that's why it's okay. Like, you made a bad joke, but you know, you are a white guy, and it's not right for white guys to say the N-word. And then Bill Maher is like, apologize. He is saying like, well, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't have used that word, and I didn't mean it from a place of hate, but I shouldn't have used that word. It's like, Bill, buddy, why? Like,
does the joke change to anybody if he said a house N-word? Does that make it better?
It doesn't. It doesn't. What if he said a house slave?
Right. It's stupid. It's just people getting upset because they heard a word that they know that they can attack somebody for saying.
Right.
That's it. That's the only reason that anybody said anything, because they're fucking stupid. That's it. Period.
So I've been listening.
And Ice Cube was even worse.
Well, let's get there in a second. But one thing, I've been listening to Jim Norton talk about this on his show, and he's like, why, if this word, because it's like some people get a free pass on the word, right? Like, some famous white people can get away with saying the word
Louis
in a
C.K.
certain context, and it's okay. Yeah, Louis C.K. But
Bill Maher said it before on his show.
And it's not just Bill Maher. It's not just when he says it, but he says it, and then a certain group of people latch onto it. And if that certain group finds you and latches onto it, that's when it's not okay. And the one point that he made that I thought was really good, like, now obviously Bill Maher didn't get fired, but a lot of people have been fired. If you can't say the word, if you're going to be fired for saying the word, why not write it into these people's contracts? Why don't these big companies write in, hey, guess what? You can't use the N-word. You can't use faggot, nigger, all of these words. You can't say it. That's it. It's done. All of the words, kike, whatever it is, off the table now. It's in the contract.
There's only one of them, though. Or I guess you kind of can't say faggot, but it also depends a lot more on the context for faggot for other people than other things.
But then you negotiate and say, my contract is contingent on being able to say those words.
Well, but the N-word isn't used the same way as...
Matt in the chat says that the HBO took the joke out. I'm pretty sure they actually didn't. They may have censored it, but the joke was still there. They may have like beeped it or something, but I'm pretty sure that other people also, it wasn't beeped all the time. I think they may have only done it if they replayed it before like 9 o'clock or something.
It's HBO too. Like, HBO shows much worse shit than that. How is that so offensive?
Yeah, this is what I was wondering. It's like, did these people, like all of them, genuinely boycott Quentin Tarantino from the first movie he ever made? Like, do they just not watch anything he's ever made? You know? Or any other person in media? I mean, this is an art form. You have to remember that. It is an art form. And people are allowed to express art in different ways, however they see fit. And it doesn't only have to come from somebody who that art may have reflected in life. That's not the point of it.
Is it more acceptable to write it into your scripts than to actually say it out loud?
It should be acceptable, period.
It is. And I mean, movies have to float around it a certain way, but like, you know, games seem to get away with it or be able to get away with it a lot more than any other medium. Like it seems like if you make a game and you use any of the slurs, it's okay.
Well,
it's not a problem.
I don't know. It also would depend on the game. I mean, there was that huge deal a few years ago, the Kotaku stuff, that kind of harped on like any game that was semi-misogynistic or something, even just because they have like a lead male character who like bangs bitches. Like,
I feel like they
worst
tried it, but it didn't. I mean,
right? No, it didn't
go
take
anywhere.
hold. It didn't take hold well, but I mean, it still does
Right.
happen, and it's always stupid.
So after Bill Maher, goes through his first apology, it's really more like his
More of
third
it is-
apology.
Yeah, well, it was again, it was more than the apology. It was also the explanation that he should be able to say it. He understands that it's bad for people to hear for some
Right.
people, but he should be allowed to say it. And again, to reiterate on that, there should be no difference. I mean, does that mean that he's not allowed to make a rape joke ever? Like nobody's allowed to make rape jokes from now on. Like that doesn't exist. Because if it doesn't, then where are all these other people getting outraged at every female comedian, or I guess male comedians too, making rape jokes? I mean, where is the line for what we have to censor in our own humor?
And that's the thing, is like if you write those into the contract, well, you can't say this word, then yeah, you have to keep adding all of these words to the list, and then pretty soon you can't say anything. So he apologizes. He does his thing where he gets his hand held with the professor, and then Ice Cube comes on, and he has Ice Cube come on. This is so cringy. It's kind of painful.
Cringy. It's worse than cringy.
It's really terrible. Joe, you've got the clip.
It's so
right?
hypocritical.
What made
Like
you
how
think that it was cool to say that?
That's
one question.
I just explained. There
That's
was no
cool.
thought put into it. Obviously, I was telling Dr. Dyson, comedians, they react. And it was wrong, and I apologized. And, more than that, I can't do.
I accept your apology.
Pause for a
but
second.
I still.
So that's the thing, is like he's a comedian and he reacts like and like Dave was saying before, it is an art form. Like that is what you do as this whatever artist. It's like if you're a painter, if you're a sculptor and you hear that word and you go and react to it in paint format or whatever it is, like you can't do that. Like you can't react to hearing something or
Right.
or the thought, and it's not like he was the only one that thought that. Like once Field was thrown out there, people thought it. So why not just make that react? Why can't you react to or make the joke? Like why is that the apology?
I accept your apology.
Yeah, I accept your apology.
Right, but I mean, just look at Ice Cube's career.
I think
And
we
that's-
need to get to the root of the psyche, because I think it's a lot of guys out there who cross the line because they a little too familiar, or they think they too familiar, or it's guys that, they might have a black girlfriend or two that made them some Kool-Aid every now and then, and they think they can cross the line.
Makes
And
him
they
think he
can't.
can make Kool-Aid jokes.
It's a word that has been used against us. It's like a knife, man. And you can use it as a weapon or you can use it as a tool. It's been used as a weapon against us by white people. And we're
Also
not gonna let
towards
that
white
happen
people.
again. By nobody. Because it's not
So,
cool.
Joe, is this when you played this video, is this right where it came in, or did you edit off some of the beginning?
No, that's where it came from.
Oh. What was weird is there in
There
the
are
beginning,
longer clips. Like I picked one that was 3 minutes, but a lot of
Yeah,
them were
that's
like
not
8
the whole.
minutes.
Yeah.
there's a clip where they talk a little bit more before, like where this cuts in, where Ice Cube told Bill Maher that, hey, I like your show, but sometimes you sound like a redneck trucker
Yeah.
on this show.
Right. How is that not also offensive? I mean, like, okay. I mean, I don't care that he said it at all, but how is that
Right.
not?
How
an
is that
equal
not
thing?
yeah, exactly. But also, Bill Maher has never sounded like a
No,
redneck trucker. That is not his audience. I mean, he's definitely not appealing to redneck truckers. Yeah, so Ice Cube
because he wouldn't care
coming
if he
at
said that, and just by them caring is what makes it powerful.
Ice Cube coming at Bill Maher about free speech is one of the most hypocritical things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Like, I think that's people should be looking at this entire exchange and being like, well, wait a minute. You got two people here who've really pushed the envelope, like made their careers off of free speech. Ice Cube, definitely. I mean, come on. Like, his whole career is saying offensive, violent, terrible things, wrapping them into music, and people can't look at that and say, well, wait a minute, this is weird.
Very disrespectful to women.
Yeah, misogynistic, homophobic. I mean, he just re-released his one of his albums where he definitely calls tons of people faggots.
Well, that was what he was promoting on the show.
Right. He's coming on the show to re-release a record, the special edition. Everything's remastered. It sounds cleaner. And hey, you guys can hear me shout out some homophobic slurs. So, but Bill Maher, you sound like a redneck trucker for using the N-word. You're bad.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
And I don't understand why nobody says anything about that.
Well, it's because anybody else with enough of a voice to say anything like that gains viewers and followers from attacking. It's
Right.
like it's like in any TV show about business or something where everybody like underneath somebody else attacks the one person at the top, so then more people can move up. That's all it is. It's a bunch of people that think that maybe they'll get their own show or their own spot or their own notoriety because they went after this and they got those people behind them.
Right.
That's all it is. Nobody genuinely thinks that he was doing anything offensive or bad. It's just a bunch of morons.
Okay, is there any more left of that clip?
Play too easy.
Yeah, there's a couple minutes left.
The chat is talking about if Ice Cube speaks for black people, then who can we nominate to speak for white people?
Now, I know you heard it's in the lexicon, everybody talking. But
Well, pause for a second. And that's such a
That's our word,
stupid,
man.
that's such a stupid stance to take. I mean, the reaction of always, oh, well, if they can do it, then we should be able to do it. Like the response from people when they did an all-female screening of Wonder Woman. Well, I'm going to do an all-male screen. Well, would you just stop? Would you just stop? Like, you realize that reaction is what makes things worse.
To a degree, but at the same time, it is important to make the point that you should be able to without being attacked as well
you should
for
be able
that.
to, but you can just do it. Like
Right, but kind of.
when you make that stance of like, oh well, I mean, why don't they would be all upset? Just all right, listen. Just let it happen. Let it be what it is, and you be the bigger person. You be the better person. All right, you know what? Cool. Let them have their all-female screening. Let the blacks have the Ice Cube speak for them. Whatever it is, just who cares?
Can I
Like,
advertise my all-white screening of a movie because I want to watch it without
I don't
people
care.
shouting
I
at it?
don't fucking care, dude. Who
Well,
cares?
The problem with that, and I agree that would be nice, ideally, and that's how it should be, but I mean, you also had people protest things where, I mean, in Toronto for like 4 straight years at the University of Toronto, there was men's rights or men's discussion, which didn't bar any women from attending or anything. I was just talking about issues affecting primarily men. And they were protested and protested and protested because they weren't, I don't know. They don't exist. Those problems don't exist to some people, which fine. They don't need to like match up and be worse or whatever. That's not what anybody is saying. The problem is that when certain people limit the problems that other people have relative to other things, all you're going to do is make that person more defensive. That's all you're doing.
Right.
And that's kind of what's been done. So that's what causes the men's only screening. And again, it's stupid, but you kind of don't really have an option, because either you let yourself get run over or you do something to at least make your point.
I just think like you just ignore it. Like I don't think that just let it be. You know, like why make a big shout about it? Nobody cares, and then it'll just go away. Like if you don't really address it, then it's nothing.
Well, it goes away anyway. It's going to go away regardless,
right?
Because that's how the mentality of humanity
it goes
is.
away to a certain
One
extent,
thing can
though,
happen
but,
at a time.
Right. People still just hang on to it. They're like, oh, well, you know, anytime somebody starts to bring up that type of conversation, oh, they have those all women screenings of Wonder Woman, you know, like they just can't let it go. It's really terrible.
Right. It's dumb from both sides. Because when you're
dumb.
advertising the all women screening as if it's some like landmark thing, you know, that's just as bad. Because it's
Dave,
not a landmark thing.
Are you going to watch the McGregor Mayweather fight?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember to that night and I'm not doing anything else, I'll like put on a stream or something. But I also think that it's gonna, like, it has a potential to go a different way than anybody else is saying. I mean, Mayweather's defense is good against people trying to box, and I think that would be the dumbest thing for McGregor to do. I don't think that he should be trying to box, land points, or anything. I think he should just throw wild punches the whole time. Mayweather doesn't have much power. I mean, he can still get knocked out, but he doesn't have much power, and I think that McGregor has a chance of catching him and throwing Mayweather completely off of his game.
I'm sorry, not to go back to the Bill Maher thing, but Joe, sorry, I feel like we didn't really get your take on it. You were saying earlier. You were saying earlier how you had a lot of opinions about it, and
I didn't say that at all. I asked why did you want to talk to Dave so much about it?
Yeah, and I asked you. I said, I don't want to talk to you because you don't have a lot of opinions about it, and you said, yeah, I do. So this is your chance.
I didn't say yeah, I do.
Go back and listen. You definitely did.
Okay. Well,
do you
regardless,
do you have any?
Why are you afraid of talking about things like this, sensitive topics?
I'm not.
It seems like you are, because whenever we talk about anything similar to this or have it in the past, you kind of always shied away.
I don't know. What do you want me to talk about? You guys said everything about it. What is there else to say?
Go ahead, buddy. You got it. You take the floor.
You want me to play more of the interview?
No. I want.
Well, I mean, for instance, I mean, Dr. Dyson was on the show, right? And then Ice Cube reiterated the same thing, just worse. You can reiterate the same thing from your stance. I mean, what do you want to say?
I don't know. What can I say that hasn't already been said, Dave?
But that's not. What did I just?
We're gonna take things one day at a time.
Yeah.
You know, just want to support my teammates.
I'm talking about you, Bill. Okay. But I'm talking about guys who cross the line every day because they got some black homies, they got some friends, they think it's cool.
How long did he ramble on?
Joe, you got black homies?
How long did this guy ramble on? Like, I didn't watch the episode.
When I hear my homie say it,
but
I mean, it's a little while.
Oh, whatever.
Kind of the whole piece, because he didn't really promote his thing at all, actually. They mentioned it for like 20 seconds at the end of his 10, 12 minutes that he gets.
Well, yeah, I think. I mean, if Joe doesn't have anything else to add about that, we will move on. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
And honestly, I don't. I think that's good. I think we've done well tonight. We've talked about BJs. We talked about fuck tubes. Talked about Bill Maher, Mayweather, McGregor. I mean, we hit all the hot topics. Oh, we didn't talk about the London fire.
I like the people, the conspiracy theorists about 9/11 freaking out about that.
Wait, can I get
Did you
Dave's...
see how long this video or this building burned?
Can I get Dave's take on the fuck tube? Would you be happy never having sex with a real woman and just being fucked by machines?
Why is it either or? Why can't you do both? Why can't, like, my masturbating time just be replaced by robot masturbating, essentially, and then, if so inclined,
You
also.
could, but one of the reasons that you pursue a woman is for that experience of being with a woman. And if you could get that exact experience with a fuck tube.
I kind of disagree there. I think that the reason I'd pursue a woman is for everything else that is involved. And I mean, yeah, that part's fun too.
Yeah, but usually what happens is you go out of your way to pursue a woman for what you would get out of the fuck tube, and then happenstance everything else falls in line.
I mean, depends on the intention, but I feel
does.
like what are you pursuing? Are you pursuing the
There's more to
the
a
rest
mate
of it
than
or just the
fucking.
sex?
Yeah.
There is. No,
You can
don't
do
get me
both.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. There is more to it than just that. But what I'm saying is your drive to get out and meet somebody is usually for the fucking. 9 times out of 10, it's probably because you want the experience of what the fuck tube could provide. So what happens is you become like, well, you know what? I don't have to go out tonight because I can use the fuck tube. And, I don't have to go out tonight because I could just use the fuck tube. The guys are going out tonight. Yeah, I'd like to go there, but then you leave early so you can go home with the fuck tube.
I think Dave would be. I thought you would be like more encouraging about just the fuck tube because I don't know. I don't think you really value human companionship as essential to your living.
It's not essential. It's nice sometimes. Depends on the companionship. But I mean,
like that's the other thing. Like if you go out and there's a girl who's like, oh yeah, like you could probably take this girl home.
well,
And maybe
she would take me home, but yeah.
Maybe she's good looking. Maybe she's a good looker, right?
Mhm.
But
Maybe.
she's slightly annoying. You know, like she looks good, but she's annoying.
How drunk am I? Because then I wouldn't even notice that.
Or you could just go home to the fuck tube, where right when you're done, you just power it off and it self cleans itself.
Right, but I would do that anyway. Like I do that anyway. Like I don't need it to be an exact copy to choose masturbating over having sex sometimes, you know?
Yeah, but it's different than just masturbating.
Is it?
Yeah, it's completely because it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, but you don't have to. You just lay in the fuck tube. It does all the work for you.
Yeah, I just don't see the difference with what it is now for me. Maybe
Yeah,
I just
I mean,
masturbate
I-
enough where it's basically the same thing.
You would have to have it.
Well, I think that, I mean, it's hard to disconnect being able to do both. Like, you can do both, even in that scenario. So it's hard to disconnect that as a
Right.
hypothetical. Like, saying, like, I will choose this over that when there's no actual... Like, that's not part of even the question. It's, would you choose this over that? Because that's not really what you're asking. But that's kind of the answer you want.
Would you like?
Right.
Do you prefer like exploring new sex strategies, like with new people that have different techniques, or do you just like get frustrated, like when, like say it's not working fast enough, you just want to go back to what works and get off?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I mean, yes, obviously you do. Yes. Because, I mean, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm done. And then you just got to wrap it up.
I mean, there's a lot of work to.
Yeah, you got to change grips. Like, I mean, sometimes you like do one grip and then you change to another grip and then, you know.
But
Same
you
thing with
change,
masturbating.
that's what I'm saying. You could change those settings on the fuck.
Right, of course.
If you
I
want
don't
to
know,
like,
Yeah, you're
blown
still
out
just programming it how you like it. It's not like you're actually
Right.
have a connection.
You could even program it to be like, oh man, I was able to bang this like trashy pregnant chick. Just like going out to the bar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, final thoughts, guys. Adam?
Best wishes to the Republican congressman who was shot in the bipartisan baseball game by that crazed Bernie Sanders supporter. I hope he gets well soon, and we really need to do something about these Bernie Sanders supporters who are just so driving up violence in our country.
What about the Trump supporter that like killed those two guys
No,
in Portland?
Joe, in Portland, he was a Bernie Sanders supporter too.
No, it was the guy, the
stabby guy.
Stabby guy.
Yo, stabba.
Yeah.
He was a Sanders supporter.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay, I don't think he was.
He was a Bernie bro.
Dave?
My final thought is a tweet from Rand Paul. I'll just say what he says exactly in the tweet as soon as I Google it up. Why do we have a Second Amendment? It's not to shoot deer. It's to shoot at the government when it becomes tyrannical. This is one of the people that was shot at, by the way. So what is it? Because either you're cool with that being the point of the Second Amendment, which kind of is written that way, as well as being part of a militia. But
how is he being tyrannical?
Okay, so regardless of what you think is the truth, Adam, let's assume for a moment that...
No, regardless of what you think
No, shut up, please. Regardless of that, let's assume for a moment that everything is true about the Russian collusion, about the Congress, several members being part of that, so then votes aren't going to happen, and things can't move forward in our system lawfully. Let's assume that that is the case. Then what is the reaction of anybody else willing to change that or to do anything about it? Because assuming that is the case, that means that our election system is compromised, right? So that means that voting somebody else doesn't work because the election system would be compromised. So what other course of action would they have if not that, right? Because that is kind of outlined in our Constitution for that to be the action you take.
All right.
If
we're just
I'm not saying that it's
that,
right or wrong. I'm say that is the case.
If you're asking for my opinion, if we're just assuming that we have all the evidence and that's true, then I would support overthrowing a compromised government.
Right. So yes, it's not good that he shot somebody and he was trying to harm people, but you have to take that part into the whole case. I mean, like that is part of it. And it's not just like some crazed man was shooting at government officials. There is more to it. And you have to look at the background of why it happened. It's not just like, oh man, this is, it's terrible from both sides.
Yeah. If all this guy's delusions are true, then he was totally justified.
Delusions. Yes. Delusions. Okay.
Joe,
by the way, hold on. One more thing. Do you remember that part during the campaign when Trump said, I hope all the Second Amendment people take care of Hillary Clinton? You remember that part?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's also the president saying the similar thing to what happened. I mean,
they did take care of her by not voting for her.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what he meant by Second Amendment people.
If we're assuming. I'm assuming that's what he meant.
Joe, Mike said he's sad because we don't play any of the bumpers anymore or any of his Dave Harvey songs anymore.
Dave doesn't.
So I was thinking just because we heard Dave's voice just now, if you could play a Mike Moore song.
Whoa.
I got to find one.
Anchor, you crossed the line. The Patriots never cheated to win a Super Bowl.
Trying to find it, Mike. Oh, here we go.
Hey Dave, what you doing? Hey Dave, where are you going?
To work.
Harvey's headlines.
To work.
Harvey's headlines. Here's Dave.
Dave, can I
should have played that before?
Can I ask you? I'm assuming you think the whole Seth Rich thing is a conspiracy.
I don't care one way or the other. It's not a big deal relative to anything else.
Wouldn't it be a big deal if he was the one that leaked all the documents to WikiLeaks?
No, because it doesn't change anything else that would have happened.
It changes.
It doesn't change
the whole narrative.
It really doesn't.
It was Russia who hacked the DNC and released the email.
No, it doesn't. And
how does it
because
not?
there's other confirmable things that Russian officials have done and Russian government has done. That it's two things that aren't the same. It doesn't matter who leaked what, regardless of hacking.
I don't see how
more
a Russia
to it than just that.
conspiracy is more believable than
Why
a
isn't that
DNC, a
believable?
disgruntled employee.
Why isn't Russia hacking computers believable to you?
I mean, why isn't a disgruntled employee
like,
leaking documents
why is
unbelievable?
one mutually exclusive from the other? Like, why is that unbelievable that people in Russia could hack computers to and release data? Why is that?
That's not unbelievable. The unbelievable is the giant conspiracy of the Trump campaign colluding with the Russian government.
Yeah, but I don't understand why. I mean, they actually have some contacts. They're doing an investigation. There's enough evidence for them to investigate it.
The mouse is running around your stovetop.
Max is back. Oh, there he is.
It's in the pan. Oh, it's in your food, Joe.
I gotta wash that pan. I haven't
You
seen
should
Max
wash the
in a
pan
while.
anyway.
It's
You said it like you
just
wouldn't
move the
have.
spoon around the pan.
Well, it's a cast iron pan. You don't always wash the cast iron pan.
Still wash it.
I didn't realize Max.
Regardless.
Was back. I hadn't seen him in a while.
You can't even defend your house from invaders. How are you supposed to defend the country?
I'm not trying to defend the country.
Obviously, you just let
Personally, I
people
think that
walk
we
right
shouldn't-
in.
We should do that, actually. That's a better policy.
Yeah, just let the mouse come in and poop in your cast iron pan.
Yep.
Just let the Muslims come in and shit on your sidewalks.
Joe, final thoughts.
I mean, my uncle posts a lot of stuff on Facebook that I mostly ignore. But for some reason today, like one caught my eye. And it's just like he posted a link to a blog, which I didn't read because I'm sure it was dumb. But somebody had modified, you know, that like Trump parade when he was like walking during his inauguration. And it's just him waving in the crowds. And like there's some crowd in the
No
background.
crowds.
Yeah, it's not like the bleachers weren't full, but there's still people. But for some reason, somebody went in and photoshopped it to make it look like it was packed. And what really frustrated me was that it wasn't even believable. Like they didn't even do it right. Like everybody who was taking a photo was pointing it towards the sky, and Trump's like right in the front, like in front of them. So like I don't know why somebody went out of their way to Photoshop it to make it look thicker, but then didn't even get like the people in the background doing stuff correctly.
Maybe he just wanted to. Maybe he was an artist, and that was just
his artist was to make the crowd.
A lot
look
of
bigger.
artists paint things that they fantasize about.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was just it's weird because the article is something about
Fantasize
how
about it is
CNN
very
is
accurate.
biased and against Trump, and like literally that's the photo they use. Like, what was there something wrong with the original photo? I mean, yeah, it wasn't like packed like that, but like there was still a crowd behind them. Like, what was wrong with that? I don't know.
Why do
was
people
just
drop
frustrating.
pictures of naked cat women? With
Yeah, it was frustrating.
Huge tits.
To scroll by because I'm like, wait, one, the crowd wasn't that thick because people are literally on top of each other, and everyone has their camera up and they're pointed towards the sky taking a photo, and not towards Trump.
It's amazing that you're questioning why they would Photoshop things to confirm a fake narrative. Like,
I know. Why would CNN do that?
Yeah, I mean that's what threw me off because the title was like, oh, CNN is biased against Trump, and I'm like, but this is your headline image. Like that's what was frustrating to me. I didn't read the article because I'm sure it was dumb, but like it was just.
Well,
frustrating
CNN just recently
when I
got
saw it.
slammed with setting up like the footage behind them. Like the lady was
or
reporting.
that
on,
was
like,
also kind of incorrect because that always happens. Like at any news report, you always have crowds like you say, "Hey, can you guys stand behind me?" And regardless, who cares? It doesn't change anything of the story.
Sure.
It's
yeah,
fake news, is what it
just-
is. No, sorry,
well-
very very fake news.
I don't know why you keep using that term.
Because it makes
Fake
people mad.
news is weird because it's very
Overused
selective.
and hacky.
Yeah,
a little
and
bit.
it's very selective. Like, oh, they're making a report against Trump. Fake news. Oh, they're reporting about somebody got stabbed in my local town. Not fake news. Like,
Did you see Jim Acosta's fake news today, when he reported that Trump never visited Scalise in the hospital when he actually did?
no, because I don't read that kind of stuff.
You don't follow the fake news.
I read real news that lets me think about gives me the facts and then lets me come to my own opinion and doesn't tell me to have one.
Well, that's not right. You should read news that tells you your opinions.
No,
and
why?
Fuck the facts.
Why would you do that? Because then you don't get an unbiased opinion. Like, why would I read? I mean, I'm a
I don't
pretty
know, why
liberal
would you?
person, but I don't read liberal blogs and then link them as evidence to anything because it doesn't make any sense to.
I agree.
But like, you know, my parents and my relatives that are conservative, they always link to like stuff that like or
Freedom
InfoWars.
Watch.
Yeah, it's this stuff that's insanely like biased, and you're like, well, this isn't proof of anything. Like, it just makes me think you're crazy. Like
Matt in the chat says CNN is, quote, real news. I mean, yeah, I think Joe is completely correct here. It's like, none of them. Like you look at all of it, and
Well,
then,
to a degree. I mean, it's not
It's just the people
equal.
that say like, "Oh, that's a fake news article." I'm like, "Well, what was wrong with the reporting in it? Just because you didn't like the topic of it? Because like they cited actual facts to the argument of the article.
Reporting almost always has a slant to it.
Yeah, but like,
well, it's
Doesn't
because
mean
everything is
fake.
really opinion pieces now.
yeah,
It also doesn't mean it's fake if it is.
It doesn't
Like,
mean
Right.
if it's fake. And I've been reading some of the Washington Post recently, and they give you a lot of facts in the thing, and they'll say like, "Well, this is why." This is
Right.
what Republicans need to do if they want this to happen, but this is what's actually happening right now.
Like
and
all you
here's-
have to do is pull your head out of your ass. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I know that CNN, their opinion is going to be more slanted this way, or Fox's, their opinion is
Yeah.
going to be slanted more this way, but they are citing facts.
I just want the
So-
facts, and then I can pull out my own opinion from that.
When,
Right.
when I
Occasionally,
think
I
of
mean,
fake news,
certain
I don't
things.
just think like they're just reporting false stories. I think like
Stop saying fake news, dude. Like you
No.
just gotta put it to bed, dude.
no fake news.
Yeah, dude, it's
Well,
really.
you just said you're
just a-
you're only doing it because it knows
No,
people.
it's not just it's not just false facts. It's also like presenting the facts in a biased way or omitting other facts.
Well,
that
I
are
actually thought
pertinent.
it was interesting because Washington Post did a comparison of Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. Like that graphic when Comey was doing his Senate hearing, the graphics that they had at the bottom of the screen to see like what each network was reporting and what their slant was, and like MSNBC would highlight certain things and Fox News would highlight certain things, and then like for some reason Fox didn't change their banner for a long time, but like MSNBC would change it like every 3 seconds. So it was like a nice little way so you could see like what networks were reporting from the live trial.
And it's not like the people running even care. Like Breitbart News, ultra right wing, Huffington Post, ultra left wing. Andrew Breitbart helped found both of them.
Yeah,
Like he
they're
worked
out
with
for
Ariana
money.
Huffington to help found Huffington Post. So it's not like
I mean, I wouldn't.
They're just presenting to the people that want that.
Yeah, I
source.
wouldn't read either site because I wouldn't link it to somebody as evidence of something else because I know they're slanted.
Though, at the same time, you can find actual articles that have
Sure.
like comparable information on Huffington Post compared to Breitbart, literally never having any factual things relative to the truth.
I like seeing Dave in his uniform.
Yeah, like that. I just got that
I actually
a couple
do like
days
it.
ago. Pain in the ass.
Red.
They make you wear uniforms
Polo.
now. Huh?
Yeah,
So,
nice
oh,
polo.
dude, that means she's not wearing her Marilyn Manson
I
shirts
know.
anymore.
Well, I don't know if she even works there.
Dude, she still
I haven't
works
been
there.
I haven't been there in, like to that one
She,
in a long time.
the reason I know she still works there is because the last time, not the last time, but the last time before the last time I went to Tanya and Kevin's, like I think I drove down there. I stopped at that liquor store, and she was there.
Really? Well,
Yes.
if that's the case, I don't know. I would
I
have.
can't imagine she's, unless they fired her, unless you're the Indian overlords.
Dave,
Decided to take her down.
why did Fox News take down their like fair and balanced slogan? Do you know?
Libel? I don't know. It was clearly.
I just saw a news article today, but I didn't read it, so I was just curious if it, or maybe Adam, do you know?
I mean, because it's just understood at this point. It's like
Dave, have
McDonald's
you,
not saying I'm loving it anymore because everyone knows they love it.
But
Dave,
if
have
you
you
know
watched-
Fox News is clearly a slanted conservative, just like MSNBC is slanted liberal, so like why can they, like why would they say fair
Again,
and balanced?
it bothers me that you say slanted as if it's like the same thing. It's clearly not. MSNBC,
It is the
yes, they
same
do have
thing.
a slant, but Fox News is beyond a
Dave,
slant.
Dave, have you watched House of Cards this season? The new
No, I
season?
haven't watched House of Cards since like the first episode where Robin Wright decides she's like, I'm leaving you, and I was like, okay, I'm done with the show. It's stupid.
Oh, I didn't realize you had backed out of it.
Yeah, no, it was really bad at that point. So
If your political alignment 10 years ago was left of center, you'd be considered ultra right wing today.
that's not true.
It is.
My mom used
No,
to
it's
read
not.
Huffington Post like 10 years ago, and then Hillary Clinton lost the primary to Barack Obama, and then all of a sudden she was ultra conservative. So I don't know what that means. She was a big
She's
Hillary
racist?
supporter, and then when she lost the primary, she was a big Sarah Palin supporter, which didn't make any sense to me. But now she's firmly in that camp, so I don't know.
Matt in the chat says that I think Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes are just slate left. I didn't say that. I'm saying that they actually present facts, whereas Fox News literally doesn't. They do not present facts ever.
I get what
They
Dave is saying.
actively
because,
avoid facts.
I mean, I don't watch them regularly,
So
but I've
comparing those
caught
slants is not
parts of Rachel Maddow's show, and
sound a little slanted, Dave.
She does her research. Like, she will literally tell you why things are the way they are, versus like if you watch like Bill O'Reilly, where he's just ranting and screaming about certain things, but doesn't really give you like hard facts on it.
Well, those are pundits. I mean, there's a difference between pundits and reporters, I'd say. All those
been a
late
good
night
episode.
shows.
Solid episode. Make sure you check out strangelabel.com. Tons of fun shows over there. Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks, Furnicast. Not Safe for Water Coolers. Apparently Shannon is returning to Not Safe for Water Coolers. It's the rumor that's on Twitter.
Oh, shit. I'll have to tune
So
in.
she's coming out of retirement.
That's can't miss radio right there.
Can't miss it.
You think they'll address
There.
it or not bring it up?
Oh, I mean, listen, if they don't address the controversy and why she left and everything in detail, I will be very upset, because you can't have something like that go that long and just a complete drop off without coming back and address. You can't just ignore that fact.
I hope so.
You owe it to your audience, especially with everybody else talking about it. Like, we've talked about it. I think even he's addressed it on his show.
I mean, he would have to if after a while when she didn't come back.
But if she went so long without refusing to acknowledge it, maybe she would
I
agree.
was on his show and I addressed it. So, I mean,
But
you
not with
can't.
her there.
I mean, yeah, they need to talk it out. They need to hash that out on their show. Check that out. I think she returns next Tuesday. Not Safe for Water Coolers, 9 p.m. Strangelabel.com, which is where you can listen to us live now, or download us on iTunes, and all the other fun stuff. So, I guess that's it, guys. Really appreciate you listening. Everybody in chat, you guys really make us so happy. So until next week, go fuck yourself.